Everyone, it's Adriene Pessel. Today's topic is house location surveys. The question is, do I really need one? The answer is yes, you do. Although you can get apps on your phone, they are not going to protect you from the troubles and mistakes that could happen by not getting a survey. It could be a very expensive mistake. Let's talk about what an actual survey shows. It gives the legal descriptions, easements, if there's any encroachments, what the adjoining properties are, setbacks, and any information that might be recorded on the deed. Let's define each one of these terms. Easements, the right to control part of a property for a specific reason. The most common easements that you'll see on properties are utility easements, such as telephone poles or storm drains. You must remember, not all easements are shown on a house location survey. The title report and the survey should be read together. Some easements are contained in the title report and not shown on a survey because they were not created at the same time the lot was created. Let's look at an easement on a survey. Look at this property on Victoria Crest. Here's the property. And in the back of the property, there is a storm drain easement. And the only way you could tell that it's there is if you look to the left and you look to the right, there's going to be these grates that are there that's going to allow the storm water to drain off under it. So if you weren't looking for that and you just came into the backyard and saw this property, you would not know there's a storm drain easement there unless the sellers told you, you asked, or until you got the survey the day of settlement. So if you purchase that house with the expectation that you are going to put a shed or a deck or a swimming pool in your backyard, you would not be able to do so. Now let's talk about encroachments. Encroachments are to intrude upon another person's property. This could be a fence, driveway, shed, or a patio. Let's look at a survey that has an encroachment on it. As you can see here, you don't need to be a land surveyor to be able to tell that this is going to be a very expensive problem. The question is, how could this have happened? Could be two reasons. One, they chose to install the pool without having a survey or a permit pulled. Second reason is that when they purchased this property, they used construction drawings from the builder to site the pool. And sometimes when a builder sites a home in the very beginning of construction, it ends up not being the exact same place that it is when the final product is. The buyers probably opted not to have a final survey done because they were just using what the builder used and they wanted to save $400 to $700 depending on the size of the lot. That was an expensive mistake. Let's look at setbacks and restrictions. Let's pretend I'm looking at this property, the purchase, and it meets all my criteria. So I think I can go ahead and cut down all these trees and put a barn up and I'll be happy and I can get what I want until the day of settlement. Then I get a survey that reveals that the property has restrictions, which are setbacks. It says I can't build anything outside of that area. So if I want to put a barn over here or back in the corner, I wouldn't be allowed to do so. And if I couldn't build the barn that I wanted, I may not find any value in this property anymore. But unfortunately, it doesn't give me the right to walk away from the contract, which now creates a whole level of stress that most buyers don't want to be a part of. So let's talk about some questions of when a survey is done. Surveys are normally done prior to settlement, or if you're doing a renovation or an addition, the local county government is going to want a copy of a survey. Are surveys a requirement? No, not all lenders require having a survey. Some do and some don't. Can you void a contract because of easements or setbacks that you find out the day of the settlement? The answer is no. The only way you can void a contract is if when you write the offer, you make a contingent upon a satisfactory survey. A question that I get from many buyers I work with, if a survey is so important, why isn't it required? The lender is lending money for the value of the current home, not its potential value or your plans for improvement. Also, please take note, if you decide to waive a survey to save your money, you accept a blanket exception to the matters that may have been discovered on a survey. So your title insurance is not going to protect you on any issues that come up. Let's use the example of the pool. The homeowner that we're purchasing the house from, maybe they bought that house without having a survey then. They just assumed that the pool was done right. So now we go to buy it and we find out the pool is on somebody else's property. That homeowner is now responsible for it. If there was a mistake from the surveyor, current homeowner's title insurance would get involved with it and that current homeowner would be protected for giving it clear title. Now, since you're aware of the pitfalls of not having a survey, what are your options? First and foremost, do not rely on a visual assessment for the location of property lines. You can ask the seller for a copy of the survey prior to writing your offer. You want to make sure that it's relatively current if the surveys from 20 years ago walk the property lines and get a feel of what kind of additions or renovations were done. You can have the sellers do a disclosure if they know of any easements, setbacks, or encroachments. You can check with the county and see if there's any information that they have on the subdivision plats, but they're not always recorded. Remember what I said earlier? Or you can make your offer contingent upon a satisfactory survey. That has pros and cons, but that is probably the safest way to know exactly what you're getting when you purchase a home. So why do you need a survey? As a recap, it shows the location and existence of the property. It shows the relationship of the property to adjoining properties. It establishes discrepancies between the actual occupation or use and recorded description. It displays the location of any physical improvements in the relationship to the boundary lines of the property. And a survey is the only reliable way of obtaining and confirming the basic information about a property. And I sum it up this way. Would you ever buy a property not knowing what floors the bathrooms are on or what floors the bedrooms are on? The answer is no, you would never do that. So why would you buy a property that you have no clue what you can or cannot do to the land that the house is on? As you've just learned from this video, getting your land surveyed is really important, especially if you're planning on doing any type of improvements or renovations to the property. You want to make sure you know exactly what you can and cannot do for your largest investment. So here's my disclaimer. Always seek the advice of a professional licensed land surveyor. And special thanks goes out to George O'Quinn of Dominion Surveyors Incorporated. Feel free to give George a call or leave your comments below. Have a great day, everyone.